when they are consuming your minds and your thoughts and your dreams, from the angels to the demons and to the mysteries unseen, there is no need to worry. There is no need for dread. It's just time to discuss the thing at the foot of the bed.
Good evening, and if you're just tuning in, you are listening to UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network on 105.3 FM out of Mississippi and 107.7 out of New Orleans, Louisiana. And I'm one of your hosts, Lorilei Potvin, and my amazing co-host and good friend and very gifted angel channel and medium is next to me. So I do the first part of the housekeeping and he does the second. Holy cow, everybody's filing in. We will say hi to you as we always do. A little bit about myself. My name is Lorilei Potvin. I am a Canadian psychic medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, spiritual teacher and mentor, registered nurse. I'm an animal communicator. I'm very well versed in near-death experiences, having had one as a toddler myself and studied them professionally and personally for over 40 years, and very well versed in the paranormal. I always say I didn't go looking for the paranormal. It found me, and I'm glad kind of in a way it did, because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing otherwise. But we shared our story on the Travel Channel's Paranormal Survivor Season 4, Episode 9. A very quick fact, it was very serendipitous experience yesterday with a new neighbor and got talking. Something got dropped off by accident to our house instead of hers. And I was showing her our episode on the travel on Paranormal Survivor. She's going, "Oh my God, we have a famous neighbor." And I said, "Oh yeah, hardly." And it's true, hardly. Anyways, I do have a second show on the network. It's called The Angel Rock, and it's on Monday night, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on UPRN. And if you guys like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell all your friends and family. There really is something for everybody here. It's not all just UFOE and paranormal. There's all different kinds of hosts and shows. We've been around for 25 plus years. We have hosts that stream multiple shows daily live, and when we're not streaming live, the archive server dips into the last 25 plus years and randomly pulls out shows and presents those to you that are listening. So we technically are live all the time. What else do I want to tell you? I gotta check this out here. On the wrong list. That doesn't help me, does it? I make myself a list so I don't forget. So 80% of our listening audience is audio only, and this network does broadcast to every country in the world. Believe it or not, how lucky are we? And yeah, so if you can't see us, you can't comment, and you're probably listening going, "I want to ask a question," or "I want to join the conversation. How do I do that?" And if you've been to the Angel Rock, you've been to our show, The Thing at the Foot of the Bed. Both of these shows in particular, we like to keep it very audience participative. So I always say, if you can't see us on video, you won't be able to comment. So how you do that, you can join us on Facebook. Once again, I don't know what's going on with you, Facebook. You are not playing nice. I even tried to stream to X or Twitter. And of course, it didn't tell me once I added it as a destination. It told me as we were going live, I don't have a premium account over there. I don't use Twitter a lot. So we've done some finagling. So how you can watch us and join the conversation. You can go to my YouTube channel, which is The Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin. I'm also streaming on Lorilei Potvin on Facebook. It's a public profile, so anybody can comment there. You don't have to be on my friends list. We are streaming, we are actually on both of our YouTube channels. I just switched that as the song was playing out, actually. So we are on the main channel, which is UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network. We are on our backup channel, which is UFO Gods and Extraterrestrials. We are streaming to David's YouTube channel, which is The Spirit Experience. He's also streaming to his Facebook profile, which is, I believe, Medium David Hanzel. We are also streaming to UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio on Twitch. And I am streaming under my Rumble channel. So I believe if you comment on all those platforms, we will still be able to see the comments in the main chat here. So please do go ahead and chat away. We'd love to hear what you're thinking and the questions with the conversation. Just so you know, under Rumble, it's under an old username. It's not a stripper name, I promise. It's Mystique 1508. It actually comes from X-Men, believe it or not. So it's not under the Angel Rock. Well, I always like to tell people.
That's my stripper dance.
Yeah. Well, kind of sounds like a stripper name, but it's not. We're also streaming to the Angel Rock on Instagram. They don't integrate the comments. So tonight I'm going to be finagling between the main chat. We're going to try TikTok one more time. If they don't participate, I'm all set to go and they'll just get to see me. I'm going to figure this out. I spent all day on it again today. One of these days, I will figure it all out. Anyways, what was I going to say? So we're going to try that in a minute. But if you can see us, you can join the conversation. I think I've told you everywhere. Hang on here. So if you guys want to watch us on TV, the network does have a TV channel. It's on Roku. And you go to the channel store. You're going to type in UFO space P, and there's a drop down list, and I think you're looking for about the third or fourth one down. It's UFO space Paranormal and United Public Radio, no network, just radio. And you should be at most of the shows do stream over on our main channel over there, so you can watch us on TV. I think I remembered everything, Dave. So go for it. And I am going to play around and see if we can get us streaming out somewhere else. So hang on. Go ahead.
Hey, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the Thing at the Foot of the Bed. My name is David Hanzel. I am a spiritual medium and a channel and an angel communicator. And I also study near-death experiences, having had one in 2015 and then a little bit of a coma afterwards, I should say. We call it half in, half out. Coma was the first half, unconscious, the second half. Anyway, long story short, love the paranormal, love the metaphysical even more. And I'd like to welcome all you guys. While we're waiting for all these things, I want to remind you that we do have a Facebook. We have a Facebook group called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with Lorilei Potvin and David Hanzel. Anything that we show on our podcast, like for the live audience, we do put Lorilei puts those videos into the group. And you can also share any stories you have, any ideas you have. Just be with a lot of like-minded people like yourself. You can share pretty much anything in there that's paranormal, and we're totally cool with that. It is a private group. Keep that in mind. Outside of that, why she's still looking for stuff, I wanted to bring up, I don't know if they've been doing this in Canada, but here in the States, they're having the UAP hearings again. Because now
I have some clips for us.
Because now they have film of, but I was trying to watch some of it today, but we got a little bit conspiracy after that. And then we had the UFO clubs that, make all the fake stuff and put it on YouTube, for clickbait, unfortunately, but that's okay because they're still entertaining to watch. But they're talking more about the ones coming out through the ocean, which I'm so glad we are concentrating on that, because I think that is a big old deal. And then, of course, and I'm trying to tell people, listen, if you are one who believes in this, and I mean, you might as well, because they've got they're literally, the government can't even hold it back anymore. But please don't get caught up in the fear-based stuff. It just makes it harder for all this. There's nothing fear-based that I know of anyway. And I trust my guides and the people I talk to, and none of them are
about UFOs and UAPs. And it was Joe Montaldo. We got to give him a shout out. He owns the network. Plus we got to say hi to everybody too. So the one thing I was going to add to that is, years ago when I started on the network, we're going on 6 years, I believe, at the beginning of July in 2025, I've been here. It's flown by. I've had so much fun. And I had this conversation with him because Joe runs International Center for Alien Research, or ICAR, and has had many of the experience with UFOs UFOs, very knowledgeable, has a show called UFO Undercover. I believe it's still Wednesday nights. Anyways, I used to have about an hour, hour and a half between when my show ended, when it was later on Monday nights, and the next show when Joe used to produce us. So we used to have many a conversation, and I've always remembered many of the conversations I've had with him, but the one in the beginning, when I expressed like, well, what do you think? Like, do you think we need to be concerned, like with all this stuff? And he asked me a really good question. And what he said is, Laura, do you think that UFOs and ET have been around for a long time? And I said, yes. He goes, how long do you believe? And I said, probably long before humans were here. He said, so what else do you know about them? And I said, well, I believe they're highly evolved compared to when it comes to human beings. And he said, so do you think if they wanted to harm us in any way or attack us, they would have already? And it got me thinking, and I went, holy cow. You guys, I want to announce, cross your fingers. I think we are streaming on TikTok. I think we are. It says we're live. There's no error. So we are streaming on the Angel Rock, I think, on TikTok. If we are, you guys, hard work and persistence pays off. Let's say hi to everybody, Dave. Are we going to?
Yeah. Go ahead and start. Are you looking? Because I'll go look at TikTok to make sure to see where we are.
You can if you want. It says we are. It says we're live. So I don't know. We'll see. If we are, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm in the same mindset about the UFOs. I mean, anything that's outside of us in like, well, if we went by our intelligence, even in human intelligence, we say the more highly evolved a human is, the less likely it needs war. It doesn't need war anymore if it's that highly evolved. And plus, if something was that highly evolved, it'd be a push of a button. I mean, we wouldn't have to worry about, unless we're being kept for food, and then we're just a giant pasture. But I doubt that.
Oh, no, it's not going to show me on my phone, so you might have to check. So I won't be able to watch, obviously, because they want you to use live studio. But hopefully it's working, because it says we are live. If it's not live, I get a big flashing red. Like, that's how I knew about Twitter when we started. And every night I've tried to do this, I get a big red flashing warning. And so far, knock on wood, it says we're streaming live. So we shall see.
Oh, we are.
Are we?
Yep.
Hi, TikTok. We are finally live. You can see the show. I'm going to tell them quickly, guys. Please have patience. You are watching. We go live on Mondays with the Angel Rock, and David Hanzel and I don't know how you can get your peeps over there, Dave. We're going to figure that out next so we can bring all your people over. But anyways, what I was going to say is we've been trying to show you guys the show. And usually people pop in and then they pop out because you just see me sitting here when I'm listening, and you can just hear the show. We are now live on TikTok. So please enjoy the show. If you want to join in the conversation, I can't see it while I'm live. That's the only thing. We're going to figure that out next. At least we got the show up there. So if you want to join us, you can head over to YouTube, either UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio, or you can head over to my YouTube channel, which is Angel Rock with Lorilei Potvin, or my co-host, David Hanzel, who has a big following on TikTok under The Spirit Experience, and we will see your comments. Okay, let's say hi to everybody. Howie Odell, yes, it's time. It's time, much, ha, 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 ha. And by the way, Howie, I hope you got your situation straightened out with the horrible person who has been first of all, took your Facebook profile and then was going after the Rift Nation network. So wrong. I didn't see it till today, but it looks like it may have been handled. Please let us know if it hasn't been, and I will be sure to call it out here so more people can report it. But Howie does have the Rift Nation network. He is a huge supporter of our network here. And so we'd like to give him a shout out too. He's always here supporting our shows, and many of the people that are on his network as well pop over. He has his own show, which is the Orion Effect. David and I have been on that show a couple of times with his amazing co-host and a friend of mine, Rhonda Harris. So yes, please let us know. We got Connie Martin says hi, Lorilei and David. Howie's tipping his top hat. Heidi says hello, beautiful souls. Much love from Boulder, Colorado. And she just said just now was able to share a story. Well, thank you. You always share too. We appreciate that. We've got Marissa Burrell saying hi. Let's see, where are we going here? Jackie Lane is here, says hi, everyone. Julie Jean Bassett is here. Hi, Lorilei, David, and everyone. Always good people, shout out, who support us. Julie Jean Bassett has been a godsend to me. I'm so grateful that I met her. You guys, if you're looking for an incredible animal communicator, Julie is your lady. She's helped me out with so many of my own animals. I've taken my own animal communication course with her. She just did another one on the 9th and 10th, I believe, of November, which was last weekend. She's also an incredible shamanic practitioner. I am telling you, I've had one session with her and it has made such a monumental change in my life. And even though I do energy healing, sometimes it's good to go to somebody else who is objective and has a different set of skills. So check her out at juliejeanbassett.com. She's amazing. Howie says you're streaming on Facebook. Yeah, the only place for streaming is to my profile and Dave's.
Not anymore. I just shared it to both our groups, and if you tap on it, it takes you right to TikTok. Yeah, I figured out. I don't know how I figured that out, you guys. I am not that intelligent.
I am not sad now because today I thought it was a waste. The bathroom throne was plugged today. God knows how. 3 hours of my day unplugging that, and then I'm still going through the comments, and then I've been working on the TikTok thing. I have been working on it every day. I've let other things slide, but when I get something in my head, I know persistence and hard work pays off. So I'm so grateful because now we can do this, and now we can show some of the other shows how to do it too. Anyways, we've got Michelle Wilfong. I also want to give Michelle Wilfong a shout out. She's on TikTok. She was so graceful to do this. I didn't get a chance to ask her, but I knew she went to the TikTok feed as well. So I made her one of my mods, and she's an incredible mod. So please check her out on TikTok. She has a profile there. She puts up, I believe it's daily videos of the haunted activity in her own apartment where she lives. So please support her. She's been an incredible supporter of my TikTok, and I really appreciate all her hard work. Let's see, where are we going here? Everybody's saying hi. That's what I love about our chat, Dave. Everybody supports me.
Everybody knows everybody. It's like a party.
Richard Minnick. I believe Richard was here last week for the first time. It said, I believe it was you, Richard. It might have been somebody else, but they said, oh, I've never been here before. I really like this conversation, and we're glad to have you here too. And Michelle says, thank you, David. Without you on TikTok, I would never have found all these like-minded people. And David does have a huge following on TikTok, and that is an untapped resource that we have not been able to get going on our network because you need something called a streaming key. But tech is a hobby of mine, and I found I won't say too much, but I found a little program. I'm not breaking any rules, but found a roundabout way to do this. So anyways, Howie says, oh my gosh, did you all see it yesterday? What a circus. He said Lou was double talking his ass off. He's talking about with the Congress things with UFOs, Lou Elizondo. And then let's keep going. Michelle Plummer's here. Hi. Jennifer M is here. Judy Thompson is here. She says hi, Lorilei and David. Let's see. And Jennifer M says, shout out to Julie Jean Bassett, I'm believing. She says, thank you, Lorilei. And Heidi agreed with me as well about Julie. And Howie said, thank you for the shout out. Oh, Heather Cooper's here. She said, have you heard of, oh God, I haven't got my this on.
Yes, I can't pronounce it. It's Ibogaine or something like that.
I mean, it sounds like a treatment, but also a spiritual journey. Was wondering what your thoughts are on this. Well, we can talk once we finish the hellos because we got.
We'll finish the hellos and we'll talk about it because I have a comment on it. It's not a bad one.
Richard is an amazing man. And then Slim Verbinet, I see, is here. Hello, welcome.
I love that Slim has Cookie Monster there.
Yes, I know. And then Howie says, watching and standing near the toilet after I talked about the throne at our house. I told you I wasn't giving up on it. Okay, I have not heard of this treatment, so go ahead, Dave.
It's derived from a plant. I think it's synthesized, and it's almost like if you're going to go to reach. I guess, isn't it, Heather? I believe if you like go to retreats and you microdose on this to have this spiritual adventure.
Oh,
I have nothing against people doing whatever they need to have a spiritual adventure. I'm really not. But I will tell you this, if you have to do that at some point, that's fine. But I can tell you, naturally, you literally do not need it. You might, I believe that you might need it or want it in order to get into that mind frame or to get ready for it. But I can tell you that you can see and go into some really crazy places through meditation and through certain kinds of breath techniques. So you might want to, you can study up on that as well. But I don't see anything wrong. I mean, I can't really comment on what's wrong or right as far as that goes.
But so the one thing that I caution against it, first of all, because we've seen this with ayahuasca, we've seen it with many of the psychotropic, psychedelic type drugs, especially with ayahuasca, that really has been watered down what it was originally used for and how people used it. You have to be careful. You have to do your research, and people are using drugs like this because they can be very helpful, but they can also be very dangerous in the hands of somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. So ibogaine what is it used for? It's a psychoactive drug. Effectively treats traumatic brain injury in special ops military vets. Stanford medicine researchers find that ibogaine, a plant-based psychoactive compound, safely led to improvements in depression, anxiety, and functioning among vets with traumatic brain injuries. And what I want to add, many of these, we have to be careful with the names of them. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, take the first letters of those 3 words. Many of them are now being used. And if it's done in a proper medical setting, microdosing, they are finding that years of what maybe therapy might be able to kind of put a dent in can be done in a couple sessions. They can really help with clearing a lot of, if you will, trauma and pain and things like that. You don't need them. I will agree with David. But if you are, you got PTSD or you've been through a lot of stuff but make sure you do your homework and do it in the hands of a professional. Because I can tell you, I've run across doctors that have suggested drugs that I would never consider in a million years for chronic pain. And it was kind of like it was kind of like just a passing whim. I kind of felt like they were doing some research on it that week, and that God knows what the follow-up would have been. And I'm lucky because I have medical knowledge. So I agree. But if you're new at this, because I think that I forget who we were having this conversation with recently, might have been on the Angel Rock, but when we go on this journey, the spiritual journey, we kind of have something called the dark night of the soul. Not everybody does, but a lot of people do. Start looking at life, start feeling like you don't belong. And then you find out there's a lot of healing that takes place as you start raising your vibration or your energy level. So there are different ways to do it, but I call meditation, Dave, don't you? Our workspace, basically.
Oh, there's different breathing techniques you can learn that from hundreds of thousands of years ago that will take you into these spaces, and it can get you to release these chemicals that you need. I wanted to tell you, for somebody like me, when I believe I was 18 at the time, 17 or 18, I was really high. I wasn't a spiritual person at the time, but I grew up seeing all kinds of stuff, and I just chose to not want to be around it after I got to a certain age, but it was always still there. And I used to play around and have fun. And the last time that I ever played that song, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, it was horrific and awful. And it was because of the mind frame that I was probably in beforehand, because I'm already ready. My brain is already wired to see a bunch of, just like Lorilei's. Our brains at this point are already rewired to see past what others just aren't seeing right now. It doesn't mean you can't. It just means
you always got to have a buddy. Go back to the comedian Ralphie May. He always says you got to have a buddy no matter what you're going to do if you're going to do something like that.
Yeah, I had the worst, time trip on that. I will say there's going to be naturopaths that come out, and they're going to know how to use these things at some point and really figure it out. I believe one day it'll be safe and it'll be beneficial. I
would suggest a physician that does it all the time and works in this field, is on top of the research, has a clinic that does it.
Most of them aren't gonna, if you walk into, most of them go, hey, I want to have a spiritual trip. They're going to be like, this isn't, no, that's not.
And I'm not poo-pooing naturopaths. My sister-in-law is a naturopathic doctor. She went to school for 7 years, but you got to find somebody that does this all the time and knows, because people are different. Every single person is different, their physiology and makeup and what have you. So there's a few things here. Julie, you're right about the sales reps. Contessa, the only thing with mugwort tea too.
I'm the mugwort queen, king, whatever.
Let me finish. Yeah. If you know what you were doing and where you were getting it from. But I am telling you, I have run into people who have taken too much and gotten very ill. They have not passed or anything, but you need to be careful with anything you are putting in your body.
I will tell anybody, mugwort tea is great for sleep, and it is dream tea, and it is all those things, but I will tell you, please listen to it when everybody tells you, even homeopath will tell you, do not use mugwort tea if you are pregnant. Do not do it. Yeah. It's safe if you're just like Dave, and I drink it. I don't put it in a sash. Some people put it in a sash. I make a tea out of it. I've been drinking it for 7 years.
Yeah, Dave, you tolerate it. I've run into people who have had very awful experiences and gotten quite.
Oh, my first 2 weeks. My first 2 weeks were not good with it because I kept feeling like you know what I kept feeling? I would have the vivid dreams, and they would be so vivid. And then I would wake up though, and do you remember the NyQuil buzz? Remember when you took too much NyQuil? Oh yeah, it ruined my entire next day. And so I had to cut down how much I did. But now I drink like a glass of it. For me, it just helps me relax and fall asleep.
It is listed as too much can be very toxic.
It is bad for you if you do too much.
The problem is that some people I know have had nausea and vomiting. It's not common, but you have to know what you're doing. So get someone to show you. And
look at the side effects and use the natural stuff. It grows on the side of the road, for crying out loud.
Not everywhere, but it does. So Jeffro Bodine, I like that name, 72. They have a new eye movement treatment for trauma and PTSD. I know what it is. It's EDMR, I think it's called. It is an eye movement treatment. I had somebody in the Angel Rock. Her name is Megan Connor. She came from the LDS church, had a very traumatic upbringing, was actually sex, TRAFFICKED. Got to be careful on YouTube. And had a lot of healing to do. And she found it remarkable. She actually, the reason how I found her, she's a coach. She's a really nice lady, really incredible. She's got a bigger YouTube channel she's been growing. She is the cousin, if you're a true crime follower, of Lori Vallow. And I saw her speaking on one of the channels I follow called Surviving the Survivor. And she was phenomenal, very spiritual. I could feel that from her. So she talked quite a bit about that treatment. So you're absolutely right. Now, Howie, and I'm going to go down. You said, wouldn't some of these drugs enhance PTSD? That's why you need to do your homework.
That's why you need to do
work
homework.
With a professional that knows what they're doing. Same as the EDMR. That's not a treatment for everything. Right? It works in many situations, but not all. So you got to do your homework.
I don't know a lot about it, and nor am I a doctor, nor do I play one on TV, nor do I do anything. But it always seemed to me with PTSD that it would be very much something that is very individualized to each person. You know what I mean? Because not everybody is the same. It's kind of like autism. Not everybody is the same. OCD, not everybody is the same. It's always going to be slightly different.
Plus, your bodies are all physically different. So you're going to process things different. You're going to break it down different. That's why, like I've used the example many times. Say your tap starts leaking. Say your toilet gets plugged, like mine. It did today. God knows how, but it did. So if I hadn't been able to fix it, or God forbid something had started leaking, could I go on YouTube and probably figure it out somehow, some way? Probably. Would it be fixed perfectly? No. So who do you go to? Someone that does that every day, a plumber. He's the expert in my mind. If you've done your homework and there's good reviews on them and they're doing it every day, kind of the same thing. Do your research.
And if they're not any good, then they get their own show, call it Ghost Hunters, and make millions.
I like Jason Hawes, actually.
I do. I'm teasing them.
Yeah.
I love the
Nicole
early.
Thomas.
I love the early ghosts. I tell you, if you guys want to know what true ghost hunting is, look at the very early ones.
Mhm.
Back when they were, I mean, you'll be disappointed because half the time they found nothing. But that's what I liked about it, because
Yes.
they were honest. They were honest.
Yes. So Nicole Thomas Ryan is here. She says, hi, Julie, you're absolutely right. She said, everyone is different and everybody's body reacts differently. Like I say, I've heard many positive things. I don't want to poo-poo on mugwort. Okay. I've never tried it.
Oh, I love
I don't
it.
think I sleep long enough because I only sleep for a couple hours. Like today, I think it was 3
Well,
hours.
for someone like me, my other option at the time was trazodone, and that wasn't going to happen. And
some people find it like
fine.
Yeah,
some people find. I do not. I tried. I had a doctor prescribe it to me once. I was the unlucky person with the side effects. So right away, I went off that and I started. Well, plus, you know, you guys, I got to tell you, a lot of times when you're not getting enough sleep, everything, you always got to look at your habits too. Not that I'm going to harp on anybody, but like I don't drink. I don't have, and fortunately I suffered with anxiety for about 25, 30 years hardcore. And I mean, by the grace of God and my NDE, I don't have it anymore, but that was one that kept me awake a lot. So I fall asleep really quite easily, and mugwort is something that I just like. But I do agree with Lorilei. You do have to be careful whether it's supposed to be safe or not. I mean, if you went outside, dandelions are edible, but for one person, they might be poisonous. Who knows?
Or they could be sprayed. There stuff
yeah,
on.
It could be anything. Yeah.
Like Marissa says, my doctor has me on that for sleeping.
Some people it works for really magically wonderfully.
What I was going to say is that I'm going to turn it around a little bit. Remember, anybody that's in the medical profession is a human being, just like all of us are that are here. Or so we think. Anyways, most people I think here are human. But my point is, without being facetious, just say a doctor tells you that, nope, nothing else can be done. That doesn't mean that there's not an answer. That's in one person's opinion.
That's just
that's where I'm going. You got to do your own research. If you don't understand it, everybody probably has a friend or someone that's like a nurse or someone that's in the medical field. Cars. Do your research. Not everybody's a mechanic, but know a little bit about what you've been told. So you bring in a car. We know as females, and I'm sorry to say it, I'm not saying everybody's like this, but you bring a car in and you're told something and you don't know much about cars, and I'm one of those people. I'm not stupid, but you bet for darn sure I ain't going to be doing my research.
They do that to me. I know. They do that to me too. I know nothing about cars. I have to depend on the kindness of strangers.
And Marissa, there's nothing wrong with it, honey. It works.
There's nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
Like you said, I hate it, but otherwise I don't sleep. I have no choice. And you got to look at the lesser of two evils. What I started to use mugwort for the sleeping thing is because I'm a big dream journal guy. Because since I was sick, I can remember. I pretty much wake up remembering most of my dreams. But when I was out of the hospital, I was having so many. And I was really trying to journal them. So that helped me remember more of them is all it did. But then it got to just work for sleep. But that's just how it works for me. I always say my eldest in particular never slept from the day I conceived him. And I felt him moving till he's almost 30 years old this July. I use melatonin with my youngest with the autism. That's very common. A lot of the kids don't sleep, but they're very light sleepers. I tried that. It worked. Another one here. Like I said, you got to do what works for you, because one of the most important things is, as I'm saying, I get very little sleep, which is true, but sleeping is when we repair our bodies and our minds, right? So what's the lesser of two evils? That you get the sleep you need and you function.
Human beings have to get some sort of sleep. You have to.
Michelle Wilfong, she uses magnesium. Now, too much helps with leg cramps and digestion too. It can. And I also know with being a nurse, when we are, I worked in labor and delivery in the NICU, we had a mom coming in early labor. They used what's called the mag sulf drip on them, which was magnesium sulfate, which relaxes all the smooth muscles, and it can be very helpful. But again, your research.
I had someone suggest magnesium. Okay, so for those who don't know, when I was sick in the hospital, they had to literally break all my ribs on my left side. They had to go in, remove infection, and do all this stuff. And I had all these tubes in me. Well, I have scar tissue inside, and it literally feels like there is a brick bigger than my phone in here, like a brick or a piece of wood. So when I jump up and down, I feel it. I feel like there's something in my body. And the only way they said they could fix it is to go back in and do more surgery to take out some of the stuff. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen. And but somebody had suggested that magnesium, like calcium hardens bones, magnesium softens scar tissue. And
it works. Well, it depends what kind of scar. You could try it, but magnesium is a short acting, our bodies make it. It's a smooth muscle relaxer. So unless it's muscle, like scar tissue is more a tougher kind of collagen type thing. You could try it.
No, they said that it might work. There's the lady who did it worked with people who had internal scarring that didn't want to
even try it on your skin. I've made magnesium cream. I just I'm not trying to give any medical advice. I always tell people do your own research. But for pain, for me, and there's research out there, it works beautifully for myself. Yeah. But again, I've done my research. My sister-in-law as well as a naturopath. I don't call her up every day, but if
don't you got to get that real good magnesium? You can't just take like magnesium capsules from Walmart. They're not going to work.
Well, I've used different sources, and then I used a lot of natural type. I'm trying not to give out advice here because we've got to be careful with that. But for myself, I've done the research and I've used various different types of, we'll call them mediums that are natural to put it in. And then, I've made different forms of it and it works beautifully. I've even had this conversation with my doctor. He was shocked that I knew about magnesium.
Yeah. So who's your magnesium? I want to find a good magnesium dealer.
We're on TikTok tonight, Dave. We gotta be careful.
Oh, that's right. I'll go behind the building someplace and go, hey, you got any magnesium?
Well, you can probably get a good source and you can know it's coming from a good place if you go to a naturopathic, probably doctor or homeopathic. So Julie says, I've tried mugwort and it didn't seem to work for me. I drank it as hot tea. Yet Contessa says, mugwort tea helps me relax and sleep a little better, but it's the dreams that are so vivid, like you were saying, David. And I drink it every other day and enjoy it.
Or American, I don't know which culture did, and that's where it came from. It was referred to as dream tea, and the shamans used it. And I do, like Julie Jean says, some people it does not work for. It just doesn't.
Yeah, like the main thing is if you're not breaking any laws and you're not hurting yourself and you've done your research, you need to do what you need to do to help you sleep. Like Nicole says, she needs to take medication and she would never sleep. And it is okay. You are absolutely right. Heidi says for herself, she's used magnesium citrate, buffered, she said, for her awful, terrifying muscle spasms. She loves mugwort tea. Julie says for herself, melatonin. So like I said, it just depends, right? You got to do your research, try it, see if it works. And so we were going to go on a different tangent tonight, guys. Because you want to tell them?
We got a couple of things. Yeah, we have the full moon that's coming. This is the fourth and last full moon of this year. It's a biggie, and it's like the beaver moon, but it's huge. Everybody's going to feel really weird tomorrow. Most people are. But what goes with big giant moons?
I don't know. What did you say?
Yeah, it howls. So we were going to talk about dogmen and werewolves. Like werewolves seem to be too. And did you notice that the werewolf movie is coming out next year all of a sudden?
No.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them coming out, and they started to come out, and it's almost like them and YouTubers work together, like put out a bunch of dogmen stuff, so it promotes the stuff for the werewolf movies. It's like I don't know how it works, but it's really quite interesting. I love them both.
Okay, so Nicole Thomas Ryan says werewolves. And let's see. So I didn't say hi to someone on Instagram. Hopefully you're still hanging in there. I think it's Brunstian, Paris. So welcome. I wanted to say hello. So anyways, I was not looking for this. I was just on TikTok as I was, like I said, spending hours trying to figure out how to get it to work. And this came up in my feed. But before I show it, because we started off with UFOs, I forgot about this. Now I've had Tom Dongo, who is a friend of Julie Jean Bassett, so she introduced me to. He's amazing. He's almost 80. The wealth of knowledge he has, I cannot wait to have him back on. And I could be on the phone for hours with him. He actually said to me, I'm going to brag a little bit. He says to me, how old are you? And I said, I'll be 60 in August. He goes, really? He goes, I thought you were barely 40. And I'm going, how does a woman that age know all the things that you know? And I said, where do I send the money? But anyways, He sent me this video that was taken recently. I want to say Arizona. So give me a second. I'm going to get it keyed up here.
Whoa.
And there's a little bit of, not real big. Hang on. Let me see if I can get it going here. One sec. So let's see. We want to say bring it to the stage.
Oh, while you're doing that, Julie Jean had said frankincense essential oil works well for pain. It also smells so good too. I love the smell of frankincense.
Oh, it already came up. Look at that. I don't know what. Oh, we got David on here. David, I sent. Hang on, I'm going to get rid of that right now. I didn't see you on there. No, we don't need them having the. Well, not that it matters. They couldn't come in anyways, but still. Okay, let's try and make this bigger. Because this is okay, there we go. That's how I should have had it. Okay, so this apparently was caught a couple nights ago in the sky. It's a little bit dark. I will try and post this in our group, but there's a little colorful language. But Tom sent me this. Are you playing? Okay. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll try and blow it up for you, just so you know. It's going to get better, but there's flashing lights. Oh, it's not playing. Sorry.
Was that playing the sun? Yeah, there we go.
So there's 1, 2, and then the third one's right by the telephone pole, or on the right side of the telephone pole. I just had one fly directly above me, and then they disappear, heading toward Cornville. Wow, those things are moving quick.
You can see them now. Look at them.
And they're orange. They're really like a deep, deep orange.
It's not that long, this video.
That one right there is also orange, the one directly in the center of the screen. And then the other, look at that. Look at them moving down like that. That's crazy.
It's not that long.
Those are quick. That one seems to be still.
Yeah, it's almost over.
But, I mean, it is deep orange. I mean, deep orange. I'm going to try to get some pictures.
So anyways, I thought it was a little weird. They're giving us advertising here, so I will stop sharing. There we go. So yeah, that was caught.
I thought it was werewolf then, but that was a
like I said, I forgot. That's a UFO one. The rest are all werewolf, dog.
That's okay. The UFO ones, that was kind of cool.
So I thought it was. So how he says dill pickle juice. I've never used that, but hey, I give it a try.
I laugh with Bill. I know dill pickle juice has some like medicinal purposes, but it's funny here in North Carolina to see all the drunk people who have to go see the probation officer the next day, sit there and crank all this pickle juice in, thinking it's going to wash everything out of their system. It's the funniest thing.
Funnies, yeah. Oh, so Julie, okay, she says Tom is an acquaintance, but what the heck? Now I got Discord coming up. I'm telling you, my computer's deciding it's going to be silly tonight. And it's 5:55 Colorado time right now, Heidi says, which gives me a good reminder. I should give you guys our station ID. If you're just tuning in, you're listening to UFO Paranormal and United Public Radio Network, or you're watching, And you can listen to us on 105.3 FM in Mississippi and 107.7 in New Orleans, Louisiana. This is The Thing at the Foot of the Bed. I'm one of your co-hosts, Lorilei Potvin, and this is my amazing friend and talented medium, angel channel, and so many other things, and co-host, David Hanzel. Hi, Stone Hobbit. Let's see. Oh, he sings, how he's saying, so I don't forget, I saw the new A-10 Warthogs flying out of Richmond International today. Man, ooh. And
I'm assuming those are. I'm going to have to claim ignorance here. I don't
think I know. I know it's a type of.
That's what I'm assuming. Yeah.
So
well, I tell you, back in Richmond and some parts of North Carolina, if you look over the ocean, there's some really good stuff to see flying. I'm surprised we don't see more stuff.
So Stone Hobbit says, very awesome. So let's get into the werewolves. I'll get it queued up here, you guys. This first one, I don't know what to think of this. I know I was watching it thinking Dave's going to say this is fake, but I don't know. This was pretty creepy. Hang on. I think this is the one. So I think this thing might be real. I don't know. We'll see what you guys think. But this is one of the first ones I saw. So we'll present it and bring it to the stage. Facebook, share. This way I don't have too many tabs open. Is it up there? It's not that big. Okay, let's make it bigger. We'll make it big. That wasn't much better, but let's see. Bigger, guys. Sorry. This was on TikTok. I feel very sorry. This is after the after effects, and I apologize. I should have given a trigger warning first. It made me very sad to see this, but it shows you the whole body. And it's not gross. It's just, it's not, this does not look big. Look at those claws, you guys. And the feet. It's not that long. I don't know what you guys think. Like, I know it's a little morbid, and it made me very sad to see if that was real, that somebody was filming that. But I don't know what you think, you guys. Stone Hobbit says, yes, always awesome to see y'all. How's it, Lorilei and David? The feet are too clean, Stone Hobbit says. Well, they were hosing them down. That was after the fact.
Well, there's a couple of things I always look at when I watch videos, especially from TikTok. So the first part of the video with that thing panting, that's not a real thing at all. Animals can't do that. They can't hold their mouth that open without their tongue coming out and licking around their mouth or anything else. That's just that one they missed, but they missed the mark on that one.
I don't know. My dog could do that. When my dog
that was literally a mask. That was literally a mask. I've even seen that mask before. They have it in. I watch a lot of that thing at Halloween. It's called IAPA, whatever, where they have all the haunts and they have all the things. So they sell those there, so you can see them. The second part, I don't know. It could be rubber. It could be real. I'm assuming it's rubber, but it's a cool video.
I brought it up, though, too. We haven't really talked about dogmen, and more people are taking pictures, reporting encounters. I agree with you. We always have to be skeptical. But I don't know. I'm going to post it in the group. I know it's a little hard to see.
Yeah, post it anyway, though. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think they had the first part. I think the way they were doing it, because the second part that they were showing, that's what they wanted you to see. I think what they showed in the beginning, that part was just like the prelude to it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. Like I said, I brought it here, not for me to tell you. This thing grossed me out. I don't know if the rest of the video wasn't great, but I don't know what the heck this was. But if it was in my living room, I'd be freaked out, I'll tell you. This was just a picture that showed up. No, it could be AI. I don't know, but we're into creepy stuff tonight, guys. Full moon. You guys can tell me what you think. I'm not saying this thing is real. I don't know what it is. I hope to God it's not real. This is in a bunch of pictures with werewolves and stuff. That if that thing was in my living room, holy crap, I'd be freaked out. Like, what the heck is that?
I'm sure it's not real, but it's really cool.
I don't think it's cool. I think it's horrible. I wouldn't want. I have seen some really weird, creepy, gross crap. Not like that, thank God, in my previous home. So I'm telling you, I'm a little more apt to be open to, I don't know. Think about those pants. They were called the California pants. I think somebody caught on Night Vision, where it literally looked like pants walking through.
Oh yeah, those they still don't know what those are. There's more of those out there. We're gonna have to do a show on those because there's tons and tons of that stuff out there.
I have no clue what these things are, but that picture, the rest of them weren't that impressive. I'm pretty sure. Hang on, I'll make this smaller, but I think the rest of them weren't that great. Let me see. Oh yeah, there were a couple more. This one's so grainy though. It could have been a greyhound for all we knew. Hang on, there were more in these. I have so many of them tonight. Oh
yeah, Stone Hobbit. I agree with you. That's why I said I know it's not real, but it was cool because it didn't have a shadow in that room.
True. It's still creepy. Like this could have been a greyhound for all we know. Could have been chupacabra. Could have been in a museum. Could have been anything, right?
Yeah.
But we're just putting the food for thought out there because people are talking about dogmen. If you guys have run across some video or footage or pictures, send them to us. You can send them to me or Dave on Facebook Messenger if you want.
Join our group. Join our group. Put them in there.
Put them up in there. You just went down on me here. Hang on, guys. Sorry. My computer, like this, I've seen a million times. I'm not saying this one's real. This one's been out forever. I don't know if you guys have seen this.
It almost looks like if a werewolf was in detention and he skipped out and he's trying to get home quick.
He's actually, this is a still of it. I've seen it in so many videos though, and I'm going to call crap on that one. Oh, wait, went back to this one again. Hang on, guys. I got to grab the next one. Okay, anytime now. Stop. Okay,
that's true. Stone Hobbit. It's better to look at. You know what? If you don't look at everything, then you won't know the difference between it.
That's right. Like this one. Well, I'm not going to say anything because I like people to kind of look themselves and see, because then we'll give you guys what our opinion is. Because I agree. I think that's very important what you just said, Stone Hobbit. Number one, agree. Best to look at everything, no matter how mental. LOL. 100%. I think that's so important.
That's how we know the difference between what's right and wrong. Is you can't know what's wrong without knowing what's right, and vice versa. So,
okay, is that on the screen, Dave?
It is.
Okay, good. Sometimes it'll put. I was going to say it always reminds me when you see video and stuff of stripper places, and here they are, because it always says "bring to the stage" or something with StreamYard when you bring it forward.
It looks a lot like a wolf.
This was caught on a trail cam, apparently.
The front legs appear to have elongated fingers, unlike any species of dog or wolf. The face, in particular, the nose and teeth of the creature appear almost human-like. Could this be a rare sighting of the mythological creature known as a werewolf? In folklore, a werewolf is an individual who can shape-shift into a wolf, either purposely or after being placed under a curse or a bite from another werewolf, with the transformation occurring on the night of a full moon.
So none of these are really long. But
it's okay. You know what? I know what I always found interesting about werewolves, and this is why, because I was a werewolf so many times. That was my costume growing up. All the time, I always wanted to be the werewolf. But I thought about this back from where werewolves we'll call them skinwalkers or shapeshifters. We're not, because these are not skinwalker shapeshifters, but I'm surprised a bunch of people from YouTube will do that. But when these shamans or these magic people, they would shapeshift into animals. They would go all the way into a wolf. It wasn't half man, half wolf. Where did the half man? Do you remember where the half man, half wolf came from?
Yeah, I believe it was kind of like where the vampires were in that kind of part of the world. It wasn't from
Yes,
Transylvania, but
it's around there. Yeah.
mhm.
Is that it? Yeah, because
Well, plus you've got shapeshifters, you have skinwalkers, which have been really overblown lately,
oh yeah,
and then you have the it keeps it's skipping my mind. It's on the tip of my tongue. It's not the same as a skinwalker. It is a Wendigo.
Wendigo. Oh yeah, that's another one we complained about. Did you ever see Antlers? By the way,
Did I see what?
it's a horror movie called Antlers.
I don't watch horror movies. You know I don't.
Oh, I would. I didn't see it either. But Antlers, I didn't know when it first came out last year. I guess it's literally about a guy's father who turned into a Wendigo, and his father goes around and murders everybody that's mean to the boy.
Okay, so I seen a video today that I don't believe is real. I think I might have downloaded it. There's a couple that they're in hospitals where they claim to be transforming. Now, this one guy, and of course, the guy, things are so overblown on the internet. We have to say this, that apparently was off the dark web and he can transform in front of people. But to me, there were so many cuts in the video that I'm calling BS on it, but hard to say. So
I know Antlers, that's funny, but listen, if you know what an actual Wendigo is supposed to look like, not what everybody says on the internet, but what an actual Wendigo, just go ahead to YouTube and kind of YouTube the creature from Antlers.
The trailer.
And that's kind of what a Wendigo would look like. But it's I didn't see the movie. I just kind of know because I'm like Lorilei. I used to love horror movies. I don't know what happened. I don't know. But I like monster movies.
I don't even like suspenseful movies that I have seen before, and I know the suspense is coming. That's why I know I don't suffer from anxiety. Because it makes me so anxious knowing it's coming, and I'm not an anxious person. And then, like, especially with both my kids have anxiety, my youngest being under the spectrum and the oldest one has always had anxiety, and I can literally pick it up. My eldest doesn't live with me, and it is I really feel for people with anxiety because it's such a
I want to tell you, this is off the subject, but just for a second. So to our audience who are listening, or anybody in the chat who is we'll say quote unquote and empath. I don't want to put it in air quotes, but I'm saying so many people have misused and made it a buzzword or a title for themselves. Like, oh, I'm great. I'm an empath. Everybody's empathic. But what was I going to tell you about now? Now I was going to tell you about like movies. And that's what I was going to get to. I am empathic. And most healers, people in our business are empathic. I mean, that's just you are. It just goes with what you are. That is something you are. It's included. Mm-hmm. But I can watch like even comedies or situation comedies. And if the situation, sometimes I don't know why, but I'll pick up on the situation. I'll be like, that bothers me. I have to turn it off. And it could be like a stupid situation. It's like, because I pick up embarrassment. I pick up all those things and it triggers me. And so I have to turn them off. So I'm like you with like suspense movies. No, I can't do it. Because I'll watch it and I'll those things I get triggered all day long on those.
Yeah, me too. I just I don't know why, but I like I say, if I'm walking around, all of a sudden I'm picking up anxiety, even before I ask myself, is this of me or is it mine? I already know it's not, because I am not like even working in critical care, like all heck could be breaking loose. The ceiling's practically falling in. And the worse it gets, the more calm I get. And people used to say to me, how are you so calm? And I used to say, I'm not on the inside. I just get very, very calm. So I know. And you know what? The other thing I want to remind people, and I truly believe this, when you are an empath, you'll hear people say it's a curse. It's not. It's a superpower. You just know how to have to know how to manage it.
The only people telling you it's a curse are the people who want to sell you something to show you how to deal with it.
No, I think that people that haven't learned how to manage it either.
I know. I guess I'm pretty critical of that because I was in a couple empath groups years ago, and when I found out, I called out some of those people. I had some people use
Well,
those
there are
groups.
people, but I think
No,
that
they
there's
were taking advantage. Yeah, they were taking advantage of
yes,
people.
but there's also people I think that haven't learned how to manage it
Manage it.
and feel very crippled by it and haven't learned that there is a way to manage it.
There
And that
is.
you do get people, but it doesn't matter what field we're in, where people can take advantage. But we have a question. Marissa Brill says, I have a question. Do your guides ever say anything about werewolves or mythical creatures and that exist or existed? Yeah, we talked about it many times on here. Yeah.
Yeah, my guides have told me some stuff that I haven't said to anybody, and my guides have told me stuff that I've said to some people, and my guides have, I mean, all in all, a lot of your mythical creatures, mermaids, dragons, all those things are unicorns. I mean, I know we're seeing them in a different way. We're looking at them in a human sense because they don't look like that, but they don't look exactly like that, but they do exist. And they may not exist in this dimension right now, but they do exist. They are things that were, according to my guides, they were co-created. They were co-created, basically. But
they did exist in a different space in a different time, and in a way, they still exist.
They still exist because nothing ever dies. Everything exists.
Well, they're in a different dimension, as well as agreed, co-created, but everything was here, right?
Dinosaurs still exist in another dimension.
I came across a picture, actually, one of the videos I have. I don't know what the heck this is, probably fake, but it looks pretty creepy. He says it was caught on a trail cam too, so I don't know what it is. I've seen a few videos.
I'm a strong believer. Well, I'm a strong believer, but I have to go by what they tell me. But they pretty much validate a lot of things. But they always tell me that, yeah, these things are, because I asked them if Megalodon was still alive in our oceans, and they're like, no. But there are some really big animals that we don't know about yet.
I believe that they exist, and I believe that we, just as we go on forever, so does their energy.
They do. Yeah.
All apart. So you can
all things live. Yeah.
If the one thing I want to add that I'm getting from my guides is, and I don't know if they're connected, but once upon a time ago, well before humans, or very early humans, it was documented that we did have a dog race here that stood on 2 feet, that obviously didn't use words to communicate, but there is documentation of that if you do the historical research. So don't know if dogmen are descendants. From what I've been told by my guides is they're kind of interdimensional, as are Bigfoot and many of these things. So I don't know if you see, you can connect. And I know somebody that works with dragons. I use dragons.
I love dragons.
I was just going to finish this, Dave. I was just going to say, I use dragons on my property to protect. Go ahead. Sorry, Dave.
No. I was going to say, me and Lorilei, Lorilei and I both know about dragons, and Carolyn also, Carolyn Shellhorn, she's another one with dragons. Oh, and so did Michelle DeRoche, who's going to be on up after us. Dragons are a very real thing.
Yes.
I used to do it a lot, not as much anymore. I don't know why. It's almost because it's not as called for, but there are certain energies, just like you'd pick up an energy from a guide, archangel. There's dragons, there's all this other stuff that also have an energy behind it. We're dealing with the energy of something, not actually what it looks like. Like, is it actually here?
No, but I draw almost all my tattoos. I can't get my arm around, but this is a dragon I kind of channeled, and it's got all kinds of symbology. Sorry, I can't get my arm to go the right way, but it's got all kind, and I drew it in there. It's got some Sanskrit and stuff, and I have a yin yang. It's actually a Pegasus I drew. It came from an original. It was a dragon. How do I want to describe it? It was sort of more like the liney type thing, but mine I drew from the design. I didn't copy it, but I used it as inspiration, and I drew a yin yang of Pegasus. And that was weird. They all. It's hard to say, but it's a round circle, and I have lots of mythical creatures. I have a unicorn on me too. Always.
There is something that out there, and it's called like the one truth, I guess. I don't know what that is or how that goes, but everything pretty much to an extent, me and Lorilei have talked about that. there's a version of something that exists if you're seeing it. I know religious people used to always tell me when I was younger, and I'd talk about unicorns, all that. Oh, that doesn't exist. That can never exist. Little people don't exist. And at the same time, I'm sitting there going, you still believe some dude who's half goat and half man with horns on his head and is painted red exists. So what are you telling me, that little people don't exist?
Little people do.
Yeah, that's the goal. Yeah.
They've been caught on camera, especially depending on First Nation belief systems. And they're all over the world. They're not just in North America. But I've seen some that people way up north from being in Canada and Alberta out west, one of the First Nations reserves, they caught a couple and sent in a video at nighttime of it. So it's a good question Stone Hobbit asked. As an empath, can you feel the energy of these cryptids? I do. I think if you want to and you want to connect with them, absolutely.
That's a good question. That's a good way to say it. And I agree with Lorilei 100%. If you can get into that meditative state, or however you're going to connect with that, that's how you're getting it. Because I guess there's some people say, like, and I know all the mediums have this, we just don't call it that. It's called clear empathy. And that's where, like, for me, a big part of mine is when the spirit's standing in front of me, I'm using clear empathy. I pick up on their personality and their feelings. Yeah. So, and I can pick up on the personality and feelings I had as a person. So, yeah, absolutely. If there's a cryptid out there,
pick up on everything. Human beings are so powerful. We've never been taught to understand it, learn about it, or recognize it, or master the skills that are kind of buried below the surface, if you will. So, if you want it, we're creators, right? We can create or pull in that experience should we want it. I really resonated with this comment, Michelle Wilfong. She said, I can walk by someone in a grocery store and see things I don't want to see. I only want to see the good. And the reason why I resonated with this, Michelle, those were my exact words many years ago when I began this journey. I was only doing angel cards because I only wanted to work with the good. I wanted nothing to do with evil or darkness. And I remember my partner that I'm with said to me, Laura, if you're going to be dipping your toes into this water, basically, and heading straight ahead, you need to know both to know the difference. The other part I'm going to add is, in the beginning of this, I kept getting a lot of people with a lot of dark stuff. I have seen somebody that was possessed that I've talked about, levitating on camera. I kept getting people with very dark things, and I couldn't understand why. And then I went to my Akashic Records mentor and asked her, what is going on here? Why am I experiencing this? And you know what she said to me, and I thought it was a good thing. It was a thing I think anybody could use. She just said that you're always going to have light and you're always going to have dark, right? That's our existence.
You have to have, here, you have to hear. It's, we have a polarized earth. Yeah.
Well, let me finish, Dave. Just one sec. The only thing I wanted to add was, and she said, sometimes when you're working in the light, you're called upon to shine that light upon the darkness. So I hope that might help someone. It's nothing to fear. And I think we have to go back to what Stone Hobbit said. We have to experience both so that we know the difference. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
I was agreeing with you. When you say, I agree with you. And me and Lorilei talk about that. If you're still picking up on that and you can't help it, you're in the very beginning. Because as you talk to more and more people who's like, this has been with me since I was a child, like little child. So by now, I just know how to do it now. It's just discipline, and you'll get it. But it's Lorilei correct. You have, if you don't know bad, how can you know good? If you don't know good, how can you know bad? You know what I'm saying? So it's so it's good to experience those. But when you're walking by people and you're seeing things you don't want to see, that's when you have to start monitoring your thoughts from there. I mean, we pay attention to how we look, to how we eat, to how we dress. Why don't we pay attention to what we're thinking? That's just as important. So if you like, oh, I'm picking up a really bad thing and there's no reason for it because I'm here trying to buy taco shells for our dinner tonight, then just say, okay, that's not mine, and go on, refocus. If there's no purpose behind seeing something, I don't know.
The other thing you can do if you're very sensitive, and this is for anybody out there, do some grounding before you go out. I have a video. I don't have a big YouTube channel. Two of my biggest videos I share out are how to create a love shield. And it takes much longer to watch the video than it does to do on your own. But I walk you through it in the video so that when you're done, you go, don't say, what did she say in step 7 again? You know. Same with grounding and gritting. But you also need to stand in your power. Not from an egotistical perspective, but from the fact that you know that if you are seeing something like that, you can choose in your mind to tell it to leave, to be on its way. You can stand in your power. You can literally, this sounds crazy, but I've been able to explain to my son with autism even, you could literally send out love to something that's evil or nasty looking, and it's going to tuck its tail and run, because that is literally, like I explained to my son who only eats chicken nuggets and fries, that is, love is like broccoli to him. I explained it's so aversive to something, like attracts like energy. So I agree 100% with what Dave said. Be mindful of what you're thinking when you're going into a place. Remember, there are all kinds of energies in a store and everything else, but stand in your power by literally thinking, sending out love. You can't muster up love at that point. Think of someone or something that you love and picture radiating it out. You know what Spirit just gave me? And it sounds so crazy. Yeah, most of us have seen Care Bears. Just sending it out like they did. Imagine it. They're telling you they're going to run. They're going to run.
We talked about this with Michelle and Carrie Lynn last week too. We were talking about, some people ask, do you see stuff all day long? Do you walk up to people? No, I turn it off. I don't have to have it. I don't have to see anything. I can just be Dave when I want to. As far as for other people, for me, not always. My thoughts are always in my head.
That's called setting boundaries.
Yes,
so
exactly.
Important in life and in this field, especially.
I set way better boundaries with the dead than I do the living. I tell you that much.
I've told people before, like when we see TV shows, and I'm not knocking Real Long Island Medium or anyone else that does this, but I can tell you, you would drive yourself absolutely spare if you were running around and you were open all the time and Spirit was coming nonstop. Maybe that's how she operates. Maybe that's how it works. But you have the right to say, for example, every time I light this candle, every time I wear this ring, every time I put this necklace on, whatever it is, it's basically your sign for I'm open for business. I am open to interact with you. When I am done, if you do not see this sign, no, I'm not open. On your way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's no time.
Lorilei, that's a good point. I do that too. Like everybody knows, when I have readings in the morning or set for the day, I come downstairs. I drink my coffee, I play with my cats, I watch videos, and I say several dirty jokes to myself, whatever, you know what I mean? Just being normal. And then I walk into my office here, I do my sitting in the power, and then at 5, it's always 5 minutes to when I do my reading. My alarm goes off all the time. It's always set for 5 minutes before my reading. And that is the time where I almost feel that jolt. And as soon as I pick up the phone, or as soon as somebody's in front of me and I said, hi, how are you? Good. And as soon as I start talking, here they come. That they know I'm open for business at that point. But yeah, when I'm done, I close down. I'm like, I just go in my room. Hey, thanks everyone. That was awesome. Be here later.
Okay. So Michelle, you said I'm stubborn. I got to know what, why, when, all of the above at Stone Hobbit. So if we're going to be dipping our toes, so I don't know why Spirit keeps giving me this, but we're going to, and it's natural curiosity, right? We're going to be looking at dark stuff or gravitating towards it. Nothing wrong with it, but we need to set boundaries, because like attracts like energy. And again, thank you, Spirit, giving me exactly what David said. We have to be very mindful of our thoughts when we're out too, okay? Because if we're thinking about spooky stuff, and then, or whatever it could be, but not something positive. And I'm not saying you have to run around all love and light and woo-woo. But what I'm saying is, if your mindset is there, and you want to know about it. And I've had this conversation with many students where people will say, well, why am I not clairvoyant? Why can I not see? Why can I not hear Spirit? Why can I not? Why can I not? And I say to them, have you ever thought about if you actually saw a spirit in front of you, or you actually heard a different voice? how are you going to react? And most people, I never thought of that. So you got to be careful also what you're asking for. So if you want to experience, and David's talked about this many times, as have I on this show, we are manifestors, we are creators.
Yeah.
So when you want to know, you could very well have that experience. And although you don't want to see it, you also have the power to stand in it and say no. And everything is energy, and understanding how energy works. I've showed you guys my stupid pet trick, as I call it so many times, with a pendulum, of literally telling you what it's going to do when I have it sitting here. That's energy, focusing my thoughts on the pendulum, which energy travels through, and it does exactly what I tell you I can do right now. And I'm not saying I'm so wonderful or great. That's not what I'm saying. We all are that powerful. So we have to be mindful. So if you want to have that experience, we don't always get to choose when and how and why, right?
Yeah.
We show up at the most inopportune times.
Yeah. If you want to look at it this way, and this is really scary, but it's not. Where you are now, at some point in your life, you thought about this space at some point. You've manifested everything you've ever showed up at, everything you've ever had. You manifested in some way. What happens is people think that everything you manifest, when it's in your head perfectly, it's going to look like that. 99% of the time it doesn't. It's very close to it all the time. But yeah, everything you do, you got here. You're who you are because you manifested it, because you thought about it, everything. And whatever goes on from here manifested. So like Lorilei said, if you want to see things, then allow yourself. You're fine. You're good. It's all good. Go do it. Enjoy. But don't come crying to everybody afterwards. But I mean, go ahead and enjoy it. But if you don't want to, then don't do it. And it is really quite that simple. But they're going to throw curves at you, like Lorilei is. I always consider Lorilei a curve, because her experiences that they have, although very negative, they wasn't necessarily that she called it in. It's because that was the time she needed to explore something. So
I would not be doing what I'm doing had I not had
she would be doing it. Yeah. So it's just what happens, just remember that.
For example, I shared a video in our group. I shared it on my profile. I shared it in my two groups because it was profound. And it was on the Sean Atwood channel out of the UK, Beverly Rhodes. This woman came from a very horrific upbringing in a wealthy family in the UK. She has overcome all the trauma and PTSD from that. But she is one of the most incredible remote viewers I've ever seen, as well as so many other things. And she says she comes from a long line of family that can do this. They were showing a quartz crystal, and they were just sort of barely scratching the surface, because she's actually going to start doing lives on Sean's show with one of his co-hosts, Ron. And I am telling you, she took pictures. They made sure to show you live in the crystal. She said she didn't want it cut by machine. It took a while. She got it from Mexico, and it was clear, very clear, rounded edges, almost like a scrying stone. Dave, you'll know what that is, right? Like, obviously, I know you will, but for anybody else, very clear. There were some striations, or looked like little tiny cracks and stuff in there. Well, she goes into a meditation and then calls in the energy of different ET beings around the world. And she said it's with a very old iPhone. She knows nothing about technology. This woman starts snapping pictures. She literally picked up, and they were showing some of the beings, ETs, that she called in, and the energy, and she was teaching people. This lady, I'm telling you, I'm hoping I can get a hold of her one day and have her on my other show. She was talking about how you can tell, very simple for anybody, no psychic abilities or not. And like I say, you have to hear her. She's been on there a few times. She also has her own YouTube channel. How to tell simply if someone has an attachment, for example. And they were talking mainly in the celebrity world. She said, what you do, she called it card. So cardboard, take a piece of cardboard, take a picture of the face and cover one side of the face, then move it over to the other. And then you can even put it in the middle. And if both sides of the face are different, like maybe not when you see it without the cardboard, she said there's probably a very good chance they have an attachment. but very good, interesting teaching methods. And like I say, this
What did
lady
she say? You put because well, we learned that you have
our faces are not identical. I know that.
we have 3 faces. If you put the 2 left
I'm
sides,
trying not to say what celebrity it was, but it was a female celebrity that was out there that a lot of people noticed a real marked difference in their face versus what they had been looking like. And so she just gave them the example to give it a try. And I understand that we are not perfectly symmetrical. There was a big difference. The other thing she did, and she did this all live too. The host of the owner of the channel, Sean Atwood, was sitting there. Co-host Ron was there, and she was there live. And she said, I want you guys to feel like what energy feels like. I'm going to be sending it through one of your chakras. And with their permission. And she picked up, and all you could see was Sean from the head up, kind of like we are. There was something going on with his foot, she said. It feels very close up underneath your body. Lo and behold, and he basically confirmed it. Sean had been sitting on his chair with his foot tucked up underneath his body, and it was going to sleep, and she picked that up. She's worked with police departments, solving unsolved crimes, murders, you name it. This lady is fascinating. I found it fascinating with the crystal work she was doing. So I shared it all over you guys. So if you get a chance to watch it, really incredible. Hi, Kasoon. Show's not over. We got at least almost a half hour left. So you got lots of time.
About 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So her name is Beverly. So it's Beverly, but with an I instead of a Y. She's a very attractive lady, but she's got to be in her 70s. But I'd never really heard of her. I think I might have heard the name. And like I say, she's trusted by police forces and around the world. So, she's probably pretty good if police forces are going to trust her. Mm-hmm. So I thought it was, Jennifer M says, wow, what's her name again? Beverly. So B as in boy, E, V as in Victor, E, R as in Richard, L as in lion, I, and then Rhodes is R, H as in horse or Harold, O, D as in dog, E, S as in Sam. If you look up Sean Atwood on YouTube and look under the live tab, it was yesterday, and apparently she's going to be doing all kinds of stuff like this because Ron, his co-host, is very much into magic. He's Scottish, and he's an interesting character. I think he's got a good heart, but I don't know if I agree with everything he says, but when it comes to magic and what have you, but that's okay if it works for him, and he's not pushing it on anybody else. But they took a picture she got in the quartz crystal, and it really resonated with me because I have always connected and believe some of my roots are with the Lyrian planet with cats. She got these cat-like eyes. I actually thought it almost looked more avian or bird-like, but she was describing with the picture I picked up. And as they were looking at different species of ET that have been identified, Ron went, holy cow, that Lyrian woman looks exactly like that picture you got in the crystal. And he's very handy with Photoshop and stuff. So live, he overlaid the picture they had of a female Lyrian, so cat type woman, ET, over the picture she got in the crystal. They matched. Don't know how. It was all live, so I don't think it was fake. Check it out. That's why I shared it. So Stone Hobbit says, at some stage, I'll send you the pics from a class I did on orbs and how we all got the same orb show up. Totally 100% confirmation for me. Well, that's interesting. I want to hear more about that story because as Dave and I have often talked, for me, I don't not believe in orbs, but orbs sometimes are a pet peeve of mine.
I believe in orbs, but I'll probably, like I said, the biggest joke is orbs busted by a lemon pledge for over 100 years.
No, orbs can be real. And
there are real ones, yes, but I mean, I think so many people oh God, I've met people that they'll see a piece of dust that's an orb, that's an orb, that's an orb, that's an orb. No.
Well, I think it's where we are in our paranormal journey in the
beginning.
I got all excited when I found out about orbs years ago. There's criteria for it.
It's
And
almost funny. Did you ever-
I'm not doubting you, Stone Hobbit. I believe you 100%. Very intrigued, and I want to know more about this. So I would love to hear more about this. Feel
Did
free
you
to
ever
share.
notice as a spiritual journey goes on, did you ever notice that we do start to get a bit more skeptical about stuff? And we don't do it because we don't believe in it any less. It's because we don't want people to it's almost like contaminate evidence, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
I think we have to be open-minded, but we also have to be skeptical. Yes, we do. Okay, you guys, I downloaded this because you'll see why.
Because it looks like fun.
It's fun. You'll see why.
New details tonight about what some are calling a werewolf sighting in Delaware, just north of Columbus. One local man was able to catch the alleged creature on camera and is convinced what he saw is the real thing.
Several people have tagged me in this video that shows real footage of what many believe to be a legitimate Delaware wolf in Delaware, Ohio. If it were in any other state, I wouldn't take it seriously. Let's take a look at that footage.
I know what I saw. It was a werewolf, and I caught it on my ring cam.
I'll blow it up for you guys.
Watching.
It actually looks better than most of the real footage I've saw.
It might be the real deal, and I'm here to tell you now, today, October 8th, this looks like the real deal to me. Look, I went to a convention time on the wrong day to the wrong convention. And when I walked in that room, there were thousands of beasts that looked just like this. And I'm here to tell you now that one in your yard, not a big deal. But if you get 2 or 3 of them bad boys in the yard together at once, you're going to have a mess on your hands in the morning. A slippery, fur-covered mess. And my advice is to keep plenty of mistletoe, rye, wolfsbane, and silver.
Excuse me.
You don't want to clean up that mess. Sleep well if you can, Ohio, and memento mori.
I had to share it. I know it was stupid, but
I don't test this. There's another guy who kind of looked like that. He had a paranormal spooky channel, but I blocked him. And I can't remember why.
He's a debunker. So when I saw this, I went, what? He's actually agreeing with some. As soon as I heard the guy say, yeah, it was a real werewolf, but it was so fake. I went, oh my God, what a teen wolf. That's kind of what it's showing. This is interesting. This is not werewolves, but these, I'm going to show this one. I got some interest. And interestingly enough, it's 1 minute and 11 seconds. 111. So you see what you think.
I'm gonna quick watch this, and I'm gonna quick use the restroom after we watch it. But I want to see it first.
Okay.
No, I want to see it first. Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I don't know you. Those are yes. Would you look at the left upper corner? There's nothing here, but wait. I guess this is the guy's campsite.
Why didn't he invite the little blue feller for something to eat?
There's another one though. Look at that. That's a little creepy. And then it's useless because he's just wandering around. But I've heard of feral people. This is feral person watching a camper. And he's talking about the blue people war paint. So it's not that the people are blue. He's claiming these are feral people. And I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. I don't know.
I think I told you guys the story before. Listen, I'm going to try to be delicate about it. Back when I was I believe I was 22, I had, long story short, anyway, I used to sing. I was a singer, and I had joined this small band of this guy who wrote some music for this movie Wyatt Earp that came out at the time. I can't remember what year that was. But the album was just the magic, It was just music, but this guy who helped with the writing of the music wanted to turn these into songs. They wouldn't put words in the show. But anyway, long story short, I got hired for some strange reason why to do in the country band. So we were in on the border of, I believe it was Tennessee, and is it Tennessee and Ohio or Tennessee and Kentucky? I can't remember. My geography sucks, but there's a bridge that goes between the two. And it was like the small, looked like a train bridge almost, but it's not. It was small, went over this river, and that was the line between the two states. And we were at this like plantation-y looking thing, and we were singing outside for everybody. We're outside on the porch singing, literally. I mean, I'm serious. We're talking like Dolly Parton type time. But after we were doing our stuff, and this local guy says to me, asked me about if I seen the blue people. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you'll see him coming over that bridge. And anyway, we were there during the day, and that was, we were there all day long. About like 2 or 3 o'clock, one of the guys comes up. He touched me on the shoulder. He goes, you come here, look. And believe it or not,
afternoon or morning, 2 or 3 in the afternoon or in the morning.
Oh, in the afternoon. We were there during the day. Here comes these blue people walking over. Now, they weren't blue like that.
Okay.
They had a blue hue to their skin, but then his wife told me finally, she said, there's a lot of people on that side that were inbred. They inbred so much that the color of their skin and eyes were different. And you could, you could literally see it.
Bye,
Bye,
Stone
Hobbit.
Glad you could pop in. Thank you for popping in.
Yeah, and I'm not making fun of them. And I mean, nobody did anything bad, but I mean, it was weird to see people that had that. They called them the blue people, but that was very odd to see that. They weren't blue like that in that video, though.
Well, I think that from what I could tell from seeing it, it looked like they used some sort of root or herb to make themselves that color. But maybe because they actually, with no disrespect, did not look like regular humans. You'll see yourself when I upload these. They were humans, but they were very unusual looking. And then what if they actually did have that bluish, I guess, tint to their skin and decided, why not go with it? Let's play it up.
Who knows? Who knows? It's quite interesting, though. I mean, there's supposedly a race of I don't want to I hate to call them aliens. Let's call them just ETs. That have a bluish skin color. And some of I guess the tall grays are between like a white and a light bluish color.
Some of the Arcturians are blue, though.
Blue Arcturians, I heard, are blue. Yeah, however you want to put it. I have never seen these things except for the inbreedy people with my own 2 eyes. So I can't claim to say that I know everything. I think aliens probably look a little bit different than how we literally draw them.
Well, that was the beauty, again, not that I'm fangirling over Beverly Rhodes, but Ron, who's very good, like one of the co-hosts of, because they're starting this weekly show on Sean's channel. And they pulled up a poster, and she had said this had come from long ago before there was the internet or whatever. And I guess this one gentleman had actually classified and cataloged, and it made it all into one big poster. Somebody drew it, but she was going through some of the races and pointing out what the differences were, who she had interacted with her sessions, as she called it, and what she had channeled, and what ones she found to be very pleasant, which ones not so pleasant. Again, not using the eyes, going by energy and what she was picking up in the sessions she was having with them.
Yeah, that's odd. I was gonna say, because I would give. I can't tell you guys, as somebody who does what I do, how much I concentrate on going, I'm cool with whatever you want to show me. I'm cool with whatever you want to show me. I always say that. And I'm waiting for that day that I'm like, maybe I'm not cool about it. But I do that because I want to be able to see anything.
Okay, so this is one of the guys, and I'm not saying this is real.
Did you get my, I'm going to quick run. I'll be right back.
You go ahead. I'll wait till you come back, Dave.
Okay.
But I'll cue it up. So this is one of the guys that apparently I guess what he it was in South America somewhere, and he was in a hospital, and he was transforming with things, not much else. Looked like he was an older teenager. He had a lot of bandages and stuff on him. I don't know, you guys, see what you think. There's a lot of weird stuff in different parts of the world, though, right? We don't always see it all. So it certainly was very intriguing to see. So I will queue it up. We'll wait for Dave. Well, I'll wait till Dave comes and we'll queue it up. Then there's another one I downloaded that was oh, actually, I don't want to open it because I got it queued up here. It was a dog out in the backyard, and it looks like he picked up on something. Didn't know what it was and kind of spooked and came back to the house, but the security camera picked up these little legs running across. That's all you could see were little legs, like see-through kind of thing. It was pretty cool. So Dave, this one, I don't know if you could hear me, but this one was a older teenager, it looks like, in a South American hospital, and they were filming that he seemed to be able to transform in the way a little bit. It looks like the color of his eyes and fangs. Now, again, could probably is fake. We have to be so careful in this age of deep fakes and AI. This looks like
before you play that, it's kind of, do you remember, what is that called? Hypertropis, where the people have literally the hair covering.
Yeah, he didn't have. Yeah, it's hyper.
But I wondered if that's where
Tryptophobia, or I forget. I know what you're talking about, because in South America, yes, there are people that are. There's a gene that causes complete hair all over.
Yeah, and I wondered if sometimes that's where maybe like some of that stuff got started.
I don't know. This guy doesn't.
I don't know. I'm just guessing.
You know what, though? I agree with you, Dave, because like I've seen, and a lot of them were doing, and it's such a terrible name, but they were doing freak carnival shows as Spirit Lady or the Werewolf Man and Lady, and it's a gene.
Actually, that's where it was. Barnum and Bailey had the Dog Man. The Dog Man was something. It was basically one of the kids from where you said, I can't remember what you said.
Well, they've studied them, and it's in their genetic line that causes it, but that's not what this is.
Hypertrichosis or hypertritis or something.
Yes, like that. I know exactly, because I think it's called trichotillomania or something, when people pull their hair out when they're so stressed.
Yeah.
Triptotilia, I can see the word almost, but that's what it means. Hyper hairiness, basically.
Yeah, hyper hairy people.
Hyper hairy people. There you go. Okay, so
hyper hairy people are people too. So if you know one, they're people.
Ele está se transformando em lobisomem.
It's in Spanish, I'm sorry, but watch this guy's face.
Sim. É isso mesmo, lobisomem. Ele foi levado às pressas a hospital pela família. Eles relataram que este jovem africano fica gemendo feito animal e avançando sobre os moradores do vilarejo em que mora. No hospital, algo terrível aconteceu.
Agora manda os dentes pra fora. Ok, abre a boca.
He's got a lot of bandages.
Sim, ele fez brotar dentes enormes e pontiagudos em sua boca. Seria ele de fato lobisomem? Estaríamos nós diante do sétimo filho? É um mistério, mas gostaria de saber a sua opinião nos comentários.
I don't know what it is or not, but I thought
I blew it up on my screen really big. I mean, I don't know exactly, but I'm going to call it fake, but it's eerie.
Well, you know what, Connie, since you know it's Portuguese, did you pick up anything extra? Because there was no subtitles. Like, did they happen to say where it was, or did we miss anything and lost in translation there? If you could be so kind, please, if you understand it, or anybody else. It was weird.
We're talking about Dog Man. Here's my cat. Yeah, it was weird. It was weird looking, but yeah, the only thing that made me go, I can't find credibility in it is because if I can take my screen and I can see it really big on my entire screen, there's a cut between where he shakes his head and then shows his teeth again. There's a cut. That's the only thing. I'm not saying that can't happen and someone can't have teeth like that, although they weren't in the right place for canines, were they?
Yeah, they were. Right. They're pretty big, though, like right here.
I thought there would be more up front. Maybe not, though. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a dentist, so I can't tell you.
I don't know. It just like I said, I wasn't even looking for this. I don't know how it came up.
It's kind of fun, though, that it came up. I mean,
yeah, but I was looking for how to get a streaming key for TikTok.
Yeah, you want to know something? The only thing weird is why do they show him with the things in the bed? He didn't have the bandages on, did he? But then he did.
Yeah, but they were in a different place. I thought that Band-Aid was weird because I thought, did he dislocate his shoulder and maybe cut up? So it looked like they bound him with his arm held to his body with the bandages all around. She said, no, we didn't miss anything. He was just saying that the man was turning into a werewolf. Okay, thanks, Connie. I appreciate it.
I wonder why he picked werewolf instead of vampire.
Well, that's what I don't know, but that he was under the see, everybody's calling all these things werewolves. Now, the one reason why I thought the first video I showed was interesting was because I've read many stories and heard many stories of people who have experienced them, and they specifically talk about the feet, the way they go standing on 2 feet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The one guy I saw, he was an African-American gentleman who's claimed he could transform at will. They said it was from the dark web. Now, Connie's agreeing with you, David. She says, I would think vampire.
They would say vampire instead of werewolf. That's another thing that made me, he was trying to get on a trend. That's what made me
hear the growling though? Like again, the growling could have been added, but I don't know. I thought I would share it because you know what?
I still like it. See, you know what? I was going to tell you earlier before I went. You know what I suggest?
Flowers. I recognize you from
how I look at things a lot of times is I like to go like I'll look up like German ghost hunters, or I'll look up Swedish cryptids. You know what I mean? I will put in the strangest thing because, like Lorilei said earlier, this is a very big world. For some reason, we think we live in like the entire world. We don't. We live in one little country. So it's like there is like over 100-something other countries out there who are doing the same, who still look at things like we do. I mean, I don't think they're doing like,
Well, I have a friend. I don't know how he found me. I haven't talked to him in forever. And I think I've shown the video. As it gets closer to Christmas, if I haven't, I'll share it with you. And he calls me Lorilei because my name is spelt in German, like Lorelei. The Lorelei's terrible mythology over it. But the thing is, I'm not German. So that's what he calls me. He's from Austria, but he speaks English, Austrian, and German. And he was telling me that we call it Krampus. And he said, that's not Krampus. Call it Krampus. So he went around, and this was around Christmas a couple of years ago. And all these guys, there's 4 of them all wearing different Krampus costumes, and they were all he said, please say hello to my friend Lorilei. So they were all saying hello. They look pretty creepy. And he was telling me there's a legend, but the reason I brought him up, the way he investigated was nothing like I have ever seen, like in North America or the UK or anything. So
it's weird. I know I'm German. So I believe I don't believe in Krampus, but I know about Krampus is like the anti-Santa.
He said in their history, he is originally from Austria, that Krampus is not what he's been depicted in North America and other countries. And he got into a bit of the history and stuff with me. This was a couple of years ago.
Oh, Sarah, we have a lag between us, so it looks like we're interrupting or stopping each other. We're not.
No, and
I know what you mean.
How about I won't talk then, and you can continue, Dave. Go ahead.
Yeah, I have nothing to say, Kira. Trust me, we jump in on each other. We do. That's we appreciate that, but there's a lag between us. So we don't know when each other's are going to be quiet. We just have to kind of jump in there when we do. And then when we do, we try not to be rude to each other. So we pull back.
Yes, and we
We've
don't.
been doing this for 2 years. We're good. Yeah.
And we try not to be rude to one another in the chat. So we appreciate your feedback, but thank you anyways. Anyways, Dave, I think we're almost out of time here.
Oh, we
I'll
are.
let you go. Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, you guys, so my name is David Hanzel, David Hanzel, spiritual medium. If you'd like to follow me on TikTok or Instagram, it is at medium David Hanzel. There's no letters, dashes, or anything else. I'm now on Blue Sky as well. I just joined Blue Sky. So I don't know how that's going to go, but you can follow me on Blue Sky, and you can go to my Facebook group or my YouTube channel. They're both called The Spirit Experience. Also, we have a group on Facebook as well called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with Lorilei Potvin and David Hanzel. Please join us over there. Once we get up to about 200 subscribers, which we're getting close, we're going to start doing some lives in there and talk about some other things. And it'll be a little different format than this. And we'll probably do some readings for you guys too.
And we might even talk over one another.
And we might talk over each other. We might.
Sorry, but I'm going to call it out because we are kind to one another.
Yeah.
And somebody thinks that I talk too much. And
I think it's because, I think it's because she just jumped in at that time when we were doing it.
I think so too. So we try to be kind to one another. You're welcome here, but anyways, if you guys enjoyed what you were seeing, please stay tuned. It is the second night of the Outer Realm with the amazing Michelle DeRoche, who is also our station manager, and Amelia Pisano. So stay tuned for that next. If you'd ever like to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on facebook.com/the Angel Rock. Sorry, I'm just thinking I got to figure out how to turn off TikTok as I'm here. Sorry. I'm doing this too. Right now, that's what it's going to be. But as you guys know, I'm working on my first course, hoping to get it out in the new year sometime. Hopefully, like in the winter months, the way it's going, time is going by faster, and it'll be under all one domain name. But right now, that's the fastest way. You can book a psychic and mediumship readings with me, energy healing, crystal Reiki, Akashic Records readings. I also do teaching and mentoring. I have 2 groups on Facebook. For all things paranormal is Paranormal University. For the things that are more spiritual, the Angel Rocker Tribe. Don't forget to join our group. I think I remembered everything, didn't I, Dave?
Yep. And one last thing, you guys, Lorilei or I will never, ever, ever private message you to offer you a reading. We don't do that. You can either get a hold of me at my website, theywhispertome.com, or Lorilei will tell you how to get a hold of her on Facebook or through Messenger.
That's right. So everybody stay spooky. And are you ready, Dave?
Yep. Let's try it. 1, 2, 3. What's at the foot of your bed?
We almost did it. I forgot to tell you guys too. Don't forget to tune into the Angel Rock on Monday, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I forgot to check who's coming. It'll be so much fun, I promise. Otherwise, Dave and I will be back at the same time, same space next week. Love y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.